Many of you may have found yourselves in the role of a caregiver. Could be a parent, a spouse, or a special needs child. I know when I was growing up, my parents were great role models for caring for my grandparents. But at the time, it just seemed like it was a very short period of time and it wasn't all that intense. But as we live longer, these periods of caregiving are becoming longer and more intense. My sister and I cared for my 92 and 94-year-old parents. We cared for them in their own home, and then we moved them into our homes. And then shortly before they passed, we moved them into an assisted living facility. I don't think I was ever prepared for the intensity that it would take to care for my parents in my home. I can honestly say that caregiving was the hardest role that I have ever fulfilled. It really was another time in my life where I had to lean on God every day because I never knew what that day was going to bring. Looking back, it would have been helpful to know where all the pitfalls were and how I could negotiate and navigate them. Foreknowledge can lessen the uncertainties and fears. We are often walking with our loved ones to the end of their life. I talk with many spouses who've had emotional distance from their partner for many years, and now they're faced with taking care of them at the end of their lives. I also talk with children who are estranged from a mother or a father, and now that parent is terminally ill and they're faced with caring for them. In these situations, forgiveness, if it can be navigated, can be so healing for both parties and certainly help with the grief process going forward. Most people who have been involved with caring for someone at the end of life will tell you that it's complicated. There's estate planning, power of attorney, living wills, all of those things that need to be completed. You're trying to make choices as far as assisted living facilities, memory care, skilled nursing, and if there are siblings involved, that can complicate the issues further. There can be disagreements how to go forward and how to care for your parents. Or children may even have ideas about how a spouse should care for their partner. As caregivers, we want to live without regret, and that often means forgiving others and ourselves on a daily basis. It is helpful to talk about how we honor a parent or a spouse. How do we live with the fruit of the Spirit when we're stressed to our limits every day? How do we prevent becoming resentful and bitter? How do we care for ourselves through this process without becoming so exhausted, neglecting our routine activities, and sometimes even becoming a martyr? I can remember feeling so utterly alone in caring for my parents. I felt like the world outside was just going on without me. I finally found the humility to ask for help, and I found the best help with people who had had a similar experience in caring and caregiving. It took a good bit of humility to ask for help, but the best help that I found were with those people who had experienced the tough role of caregiving. Some of the resources that they recommended were so beneficial. Perhaps the most valuable thing was that I was given affirmation that I was doing the best that I could do in a difficult situation. As I look back over the experience, it would have been so helpful to have had a counselor who could help me understand what the next steps would be in caregiving and how I could go about maintaining healthy relationships with the rest of my family while caring for my parents. I think if I had had that help, my walk would have been more graceful, more dignified, and certainly more peaceful. I encourage everyone to seek help when you enter the caregiving process, remembering that the best help will come from those who walk the path before you. Counseling can help you maintain emotional stability, can help with issues such as forgiveness, establishing good communication, and maintaining those so important family relationships.